Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first episode of the Sports Wrap with Michael Kravetz. I am your host, Michael Kravetz, and I will be doing a sports podcast where I will be voicing my opinions about the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Pitt Panthers, and all the major news happening in the world of sports. Even though today is Friday, I will be uploading an episode of my show every Thursday on YouTube. So hopefully once I get into the groove of things, I might go up to 2 or 3 episodes per week. But for now, I'll just upload an episode every Thursday. So I guess I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Currently, I'm a student at Point Park University, going into my senior year, even though I technically have about a year and a half left. I major in broadcasting, and hopefully, once I'm done with school, I will be getting a job at a radio station, hopefully in the Pittsburgh area. And I figured I'd do this sports podcast because it would give me a little bit more practice. And it would be fun to voice my opinions about sports because I love talking about sports. And hopefully people listening to this, hopefully they'll find my opinions interesting. So I guess I will start off the premiere of my show with none other than the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I've been a diehard Pirate fan all my life, even through all the losing seasons that they have been through. And I guess right now they have captivated this city. Now I know a lot of people had the same feeling last year at this time, and I know that's why a lot of people aren't buying into them just yet. But they are 48-37 right now, 11 games over 500. They are first place in the National League Central. They have a 1-game lead over the Cincinnati Reds, a 2.5-game lead over the defending champion St. Louis Cardinals. I think what makes this team different this year is that they have 2 solid, and I mean really solid, anchors at the top of the rotation in James McDonald and A.J. Burnett. The bullpen is lights out. They have the best bullpen ERA in the major leagues, with Grilly in the 8th, Hanrahan in the 9th, and then you got Jared Hughes, Brad Lincoln, and Juan Cruz, even though he's struggled a little bit as of late. You have them anchoring down either in long or middle relief situations. And then, of course, you have arguably the first half NL MVP and Andrew McCutchen hitting the cover off the ball. The question for this team is if they will be able to hold on to the first place lead and if they're going to be able to sustain this throughout the second half. And it all starts off tonight in Milwaukee, where the Pirates have in the past just failed to, I guess, sustain any type of confidence in Miller Park. Now, they had a 3-game series there earlier this year, and they took 2 of 3. But in the past, they don't even have higher than a 150 winning percentage in Miller Park the past 3 or 4 years. So I think it's paramount that they at least take 2 of 3 in this series. I'm not expecting them to sweep Milwaukee because sweeping Milwaukee is a tough task for any team in the majors. They throw J-Mac out on the hill tonight against Zach Greinke. Greinke is 15-0 at Miller Park so far in his career there. This is the second season there. He's never lost. So it probably will be a lot tough for the Pirates to try and get some runs on the board. But they have their ace defending them in James McDonald. And right now, you know what? He may be a Cy Young favorite. I don't know. He's 9-3 right now. ERA below 240. And I think he's the best pitcher to have to start off the second half. Although, I mean, you could go with A.J. Burnett as well, who's having a stellar season. But I think J-Mac is your guy right now because it seems like he could be a quality number 1 or number 2 for the next 3 or 4 years. The difference in this team starts with the pitching because last year they had great pitching. But it didn't seem like it was going to hold out through the whole year because they just signed Correa. last year, and not a lot of people expected much from him, and he was doing great on the road and just average at home, and he ended up fizzing out at the end. And then the same happened with Paul Maholm. This year, James McDonald is different. A.J. Burnett was a great pickup from the New York Yankees. Probably the best move that Neil Huntington has ever made so far in his tenure as GM of the Pirates. And the acquisition of Bedard, the signing, it kind of paid off in the beginning so far, but right now he has been shaky as of late. He has not gone past 5 innings in his past 2 starts. At home, he has an ERA below 250, but on the road, I believe his ERA is close to 660. So if they want to continue this, he's going to have to be a solid number 3. And then you got Kevin Correa, who he doesn't give you great start after great start, but he's given you a chance because it seems the past couple of starts he's had, the offense has supported him. And then with Jeff Karstens, who recently came off the DL, his last start he looked absolutely superb, going 8 innings. So hopefully he can continue that. The key for the Pirates will be, can they do well against their divisional opponents? And we're going to find out right away with the 3-game series in Milwaukee. They still are below 500 on the road. 4 games under 500 on the road. So eventually they're going to have to be over 500 on the road to eventually make the playoffs, either as a wild card or to win the NL Central. I think what it comes down to is, will the Pirates be able to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and can they compete well against winning teams? Right now, as it stands, the Pirates have the easiest second half schedule among all major league teams. The combined winning percentage for all the teams that they play in the second half is .462. That is the lowest. Now Cincinnati is right behind them. All their opponents' winning percentage equals up to .463. So the Pirates and the Reds have the 2 easiest schedules. So I think it's going to be a collision course at the end with them two. And St. Louis, I think, will be in it till the end, but I think they're just going to slip because with Chris Carpenter out for the year, and by the time Lance Berkman gets back, I just have a feeling it's going to be too late. And with Milwaukee 8 games out, I don't think they have enough in the tank to kind of compete at the top of the division. So let's take a look at how these Pirate players in the lineup have done recently. You have Pedro Alvarez, who many people were calling for pretty much his head the first couple months of the season because he was battling to stay over the Mendoza line, and he was not hitting enough home runs. He had a little mini streak in the beginning of June, and he had another streak at the end of June, and now he's kind of been hot because he has 16 home runs, 50 RBIs. He is arguably, right now, the hottest hitter with runners in the scoring position, and especially with the bases loaded, because his career average with the bases loaded is over 600. So it seems like whenever the bases are loaded, he ends up putting the ball in play somewhere, and it drops in for a hit. Then you have Andrew McCutchen, who, right now, obviously the MVP, in my mind. And if he keeps playing the way he is, he will be the NL MVP. Without him, this team is not where they are at. They're not in first place. They probably are just a little bit below 500, maybe in the middle of the pack in the NL Central, like where Milwaukee's at, but they are not nowhere near a first-place team without Andrew McCutchen. He is second in the NL with 112 hits. He has 18 home runs, 60 RBIs, batting average of .362. I'm not saying he's going to hit for 400 by the end of the year, but if he keeps playing like the way he is, I think he's going to end up with close to a .380 batting average. And I know that's crazy because the highest batting average the Pirates ever had was Honus Wagner. Back in the early 1900s, he batted .381. I have a feeling there might be a cold streak for McCutchen where